industry is doing to us consumers, it all starts right here, answering to Wall Street. The shrinking seats, the lack of services on airlines nowadays starts right here on Wall Street because the CEOs are answering to the bottom line. Is it complete full? Absolutely. Cabs have the most legroom, unlike airplanes that only have 32 inches. JetBlue has 32 inches of legroom, and that's the largest carrier in the world in terms of sizable seats. Now, a New York City cab, most people wouldn't believe this, has 42 inches of legroom. I'm 6'3" and I have plenty of legroom. But the ironic thing is, with the airline industry, the typical length of flight is about 3 hours. In a New York City cab, where everyone mostly thinks, oh, it's crowded and tight and awkward, the typical ride is 15 to 20 minutes, but you have 42 inches of legroom. 42! 10 inches more than an airplane, which the average ride lasts for 3 hours. Go figure.
One of the things we've seen over that time frame is we've always asked our users in surveys and things, would you pay extra for more legroom, a better seat, a better seating experience?
If I would have flown Frontier Airlines just a week ago, I wouldn't have had to pay $40 for a seat upgrade for 5 more extra inches of legroom. But hey, that's the price you got to pay to be comfortable nowadays. And that's why the airline industry is making millions on upgrades for just a few inches for us to be more comfortable for a flight.
Choice seats, which is seats towards the front of the plane, and it's not more legroom, it's not a better seat, it doesn't recline more, none of those things. It's just towards the front. $15 each for each seat each way, and really very few benefits for the consumer.
Deep vein thrombosis is the development of a blood clot in the lower extremities, in the deep veins within the center part of the leg.
Americans have about 600,000 blood clots every year. Of those 600,000, about 100,000 lead to death.
I had made a trip to Chicago from Washington, D.C., where I live and work, and usual coach flight stuffed in the plane. Spent 8 hours sitting at meetings, much at a table like this, not moving around. Got back on the plane, flew back. About 11 o'clock that night, I was working, started to feel some pain in my neck and shoulders. It got worse and worse and worse. And finally, breathing got to the point where it was very difficult, extremely painful and uncomfortable. And the next morning, I wound up in the emergency room. I mean, it's incredible pain when you have one of these things. Some people say they have clots that don't have pain. I was not among them. I had, as it turned out, I had blood clots in both lungs, multiple clots. I finally got a CAT scan in the afternoon. The CAT scan is sort of the definitive diagnostic test to see if you've got pulmonary embolism, which is the blood clot in the lung. Well, the traveling often has a lot to do with it, and certainly the cramped conditions in air travel these days doesn't help.
So a person taking a flight in an airplane for a long period of time is more vulnerable to a blood clot.
The plane that Spirit flies is an Airbus A320. They put 178 people in economy on that plane. There is no first class, it's all economy seating. The same exact plane is flown by JetBlue, and it has more legroom throughout the plane for everyone, and it has a little section of even more legroom for some people. On that plane, they have 150 people. So we're talking 28 extra people on the same exact plane when Spirit flies it versus when JetBlue flies it. So when you get on that plane, when you're on the Spirit flight and you wonder why you paid so little, it's because 28 other people are on there with you, taking up all your legroom, making you have an uncomfortable flight. So there are some airlines though that are trying to do this. JetBlue has a section of their plane in the front called Even More Legroom. United has a section in the front of their plane called Economy Plus. In both of those cases, they're giving the passenger about 3 to 4 extra inches of legroom. The cost is, $40 to $70, something in that range.
When I came out of the bathroom on the last flight, I realized it's probably one of the last service on board that you don't have to pay for. So what's next? Possibly having to pay for the loo? Well, I'm sure there's some board of directors or some CEOs in some building somewhere saying, well, let's charge our customers, our passengers to use the bathroom. I wouldn't rule it out.